Thank you to anybody and everybody that came here tonight and put that stadium into a level that I've never seen before. I always made reference, right? I've seen the stadium full, but I was a visitor on the other sideline, right? To see it cheering on our program, I thought this was a great moment, not just for our players, but our fans, right? And just really can't say thank you enough to that, from Barry and the band to all the things that went on, all the people in administration, all the things that this brought or made possible. I can't say thank you enough. I want to thank our players. I told them after the game they earned this baby. I don't think anything in life that you get, that someone just gives it to you, really means a lot. But when you work for it and put a lot of energy and put a lot of work into it, it means a lot. And these guys put a lot into tonight. Give a lot of credit to Aaron Henry, our defensive staff. I couldn't be happier that they took an offense that I know is very dynamic, led the country in a lot of different categories last year, a very dynamic player, and made some halftime adjustments, had some game plan decisions that worked pretty well. I thought Miles Scott and Xavier Scott, the new Scott Law Firm, or whatever we want to call them, right, was very productive, opportunistic, very, very intelligent, very impressive guys. I thought our offense was opportunistic. Obviously, some things we're going to have to clean up, but Luke and the connection that he has with Pat Bryant and Zakari is very, very real, very fun to watch, and really, really proud of Zakari. Obviously, had the fumble early and to respond the way he did, and then also had the false start, and he just said, "Coach, on me," and he took responsibility and made a couple huge plays. Fun to see as many run backs get in the ball game. I know it's hard to rotate four guys through, but just really impressed with those guys. It was tough sledding for a little bit. I think we can clean up some things, and hope it all happened. And David Alano just to hit 3 clutch field goals. That 50-yarder into the wind was pretty impressive. Just really thought a lot of team effort. We talked about this game playing complementary football and setting the standard for that, and tonight was a good example. Going down to that last drive to get the field goal, which means it was a quattro for them the entire time, so we knew they had 4 downs but had no timeouts. If they tackled the ball in bounds, pretty much won the game. And then even that last play execution to get the pressure on them and knock the ball loose, that seemed like that last play that lasted how long, it seemed like an eternity watching it. But when that ball came out, it was pure euphoric moment. So really, really excited. With that, open up.
Coach, what did you see from Luke Altmaier's play, especially on the 2 second half scoring drives where he just kind of took the ball out of the hands of Kansas on those 2 drives?
Yeah, Luke has just really, since January to where we are today, just his composure, his understanding. I think, as a quarterback, you have confidence, but when you see players have confidence in you, that's when you truly get something clicking. And I think our guys have a lot of confidence in Luke. I know Barry and that staff does. Just a calming presence. He literally asked me a couple questions on the sidelines. I just smiled because just to realize how into it he is. And again, another great example of a kid that, he'd been around football. His dad's a team doctor at Mississippi State, so he's all been around college football. His journey to get here has been awesome, and really, really fun to see him get rewarded for it.
Bret, what has to be inside Khalil Valentine as a true freshman to be your 4-minute drill tailback in that late
So Khalil, since he came on campus, has just been very impressive. He's got a good natural feel for it, understanding. There was a couple plays at halftime we talked, hey, if we can just get through there a little bit quicker, a little faster, and I think that was part of it. Give Thad a lot of kudos for having the confidence to put him in there, and believe me, there's going to be big days for Caden Fagan, Leighton Lawfrey, and this is a running back room that I think has a lot of talent.
But what's this mean for you guys as a program to get this here in front of this crowd?
Yeah, a lot of positives. We have more recruits here, committed players, and guys that we've offered than any other time since we've been here to go out there and play the way we did, to make it a 4-quarter game, and put that environment. And at the end of the game, to have that celebration is a pretty memorable thing. Took a long time for us to get in here with you guys, so I apologize, but you just can't replace moments, right? And I remember being in an environment with this in the past. Some other places I've been kind of waiting for this moment. Our biggest win was obviously beat Penn State on the road, a ranked team, but to beat a ranked team, I think Bret said this is the biggest home win since 1995, right? So I was 25 back then. I'm 54 now, so it's a long time coming. But we got to build on this now, right? Like, we got obviously a Central Michigan team that will come in here and play their hearts out. Got a homecoming crowd, a lot of really good things. Just one of our team goals this year is to remember the past but plan for the future, and hopefully we just did that tonight.
Bret, I know it's set up for a moment that you've been kind of looking for here.
Did this team?
Did you think coming into this game?
Oh yeah, I told our coaches, our players, when we win this game, I said that several times today, right, and yesterday, and spoke to them on Thursday. I just had a feeling that we were going to match up well. I liked our demeanor. I thought our game plan was really, really good. I liked the matchups. This is a very good football team from a year ago, but we've been preaching about having rematch games. This is the first of 6. I just thought our coaches really locked into that, and our players. I felt really good about this game. Coming into it, and it's kind of fun to watch it play out in front of you.
Bret, it's only a couple games, but what's different about this defense so far this season?
Defensively, I would say 3 things, right? They're extremely intelligent. So what you tell them, they literally regurgitate everything we ask them to do. I think what has also happened from Aaron and the defensive coaches, part of playing really good defense is understanding what your weaknesses are, right? And offensive coaches look for your weaknesses. They attack your flaws, right? And a year ago in this game, that's what they did. And I think the awareness to make a game plan adjustment around that has been really good. I really like our defensive staff, the way they build relationships with our players. They're very intentional about it, and fun to be around. The third thing, I just think these guys play with an edge. They play everything they do. There's a little bit of edge to them. They're playing extremely clean. I was really frustrated when they threw that flag, just because I didn't think there was a PI there, and I was glad they picked it up. Give a lot of credit. That was a Big 12 officiating crew. There was a play where they scored a touchdown early on, and before the game, whenever they put a 2, if they put a big guy at 2, right, they ran a lot of rub routes and picks. So I went through, drew it on the board, talked to the official. He said, "Coach will be all over it." And it's a tough call because the guy that has to call it is the back judge. So the perimeter and the deep judge, they're on 1 and 3. So 2 has to be vision of the back judge. So I give a lot of credit to that back judge. He saw it, he understood it, and he made a call, and that was a game-changing type play. So to get out of that game and play the way we did, but to have a crew that I didn't know before, right? Give a lot of credit to them. Very good officiating game.
Coach, you're trailing late in the second quarter. You get the lead. How much different was that in the locker room? Getting it late before the game started.
Come again?
I
don't want you to repeat it, but I think I have to.
How much did it help to go in with halftime a little late?
Yeah, I think momentum at halftime, and then right when so I made a choice to defer, right? So we won the toss and deferred, and part of the reason I like to defer is to double dip, right? It means you get a chance to score going in and a score coming out. Obviously, we didn't do it, but I think for us to get points on the board at the end of half was really big. Momentum and the energy. It kind of lulled out a little bit there, right? So gave our guys some juice, and I knew if we could lead that crowd at halftime going in, that was going to be a big deal. And, obviously played out that way.
Zakari Franklin, obviously a very talented guy. Is he a kind of guy do you dial up plays for him, or does it just turn out that way?
Barry and Zakari have been together for a long time, right? They've got a lot of history. I think when you know a player and understand him, Zakari's been really fun for me as a head coach, just because I've only been around him a short time. And Barry said something to me in recruiting. He said, "Coach, he's going to need us just as much as we need him, or he's going to need us just as much as we need him," right? We knew we wanted one more perimeter receiver, and thought he was going to fill the bill there, but I understand now after being around him, I think he's only going to begin to get better. He's understanding how we do things here, and put himself in a position not only to help us this year, but also in the future.
Aaron Henry and the defensive players all camp talk to us about turnovers, how it was a big emphasis in the offseason. What in your experience doing this has led to teams being able to turn?
Basically taking advantage of opportunities. We have this little phrase called CTO-TTY, catch the ones they throw you, and you're going to get some batted balls and balls up in the air, but when they throw one to you, you got to catch it. And our guys have been pretty good, right? I think the opportunistic play by Xavier to make the pin and pull, he just reads it, he saw it, and he made one break, and there was no hesitation. A lot of times defensive players in those moments, if you have a slight hesitation, you won't make the play. So I think a lot of confidence and faith, but also just schematically, I think there's some really good things that they're doing that made those chances come.
Right. You mentioned recruiting. How much can one win give momentum in recruiting, or just as a program in general?
Yeah, it's kind of a really interesting time right now, right? Because of the rules that are taking place, and Josh and I have had a lot of conversations. Like we're at 85 scholarships, but you have the chance of maybe adding on to that, and the whole thing of August 2025 going to a revenue share. It's just we're kind of in a holding pattern. But at a moment like this, I know we had a lot of not only our committed players, but guys that were uncommitted that were on the top of their list, and the 26s are going to start rolling out too. There were several 26s that I visited with today and had a chance to be around, and then just the TV value of this, right? So I know Xavier Scott has a guy that we recruited a little bit that he knows that I'm sure was watching, right? And to see those moments unfold on TV, I think will also be huge.
Brett, I hate to throw Joe out for this one, but that's the second straight game with a muff punt. Sort of, what was the reaction to that, and how do you recover from that as a team?
The muff punt?
Yeah.
Well, muff punt, no, we recovered in the end zone?
Yeah.
it's football. Really good opportunity for him. What was the question?
Just how do you recover from that and how do you fix that going next week?
Well, we put it out on the 20, right? And then it just kind of, I think we actually had a couple plays and then popped out. I don't know if we remember we scored on that drive or not, but you know, I feel bad for Mac because Mac's been like electric and very excited, but he's a young player. He's got to learn from him. But Hank Beatty, super excited. Hank's the guy that we've always been cheering for, man. He's a guy from right down the road, Rochester, that just keeps sawing wood and keeps working and helped us win this game today, which was huge.
But what do you feel like offensively clicked in those 2 scoring drives in the fourth quarter?
Probably more than anything, just they took advantage of the opportunity, right? There were some big throws, big catches, protected, I thought, fairly well. I know Luke got hit a little bit, but overall, I thought the execution of some of those deep routes were really, really good. And Luke's probably, in my opinion, that's probably the biggest part of his game that's picked up, is we threw a lot of deep balls last year, but we didn't connect on them. But our batting percentage of some of those deep balls is pretty good.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks,
Thank
Coach.
you.